Hello and welcome to another stack of packs from the 1990 NFL Pro Set Football Series. We are going to hopefully pull out some great ones and talk about some players, some values, and see what comes up and just have a good time opening. Up here is our podium. The best cards will go on there. The last one standing is our champion. And with that, let's begin. So, let's see. First up, we have, and you can see these cards have so much little paper dust that kind of comes off from the boxes, from the cards. So just kind of acknowledges those 90s cards, how delicate they are when you get so much coming off of them. Super Bowl 17. Joe Montana. All right, card number 293. This is a very nice one, worth around $50 or so in a PSA 10. And this one's looking really nice. I see a tiny bit of white up here. So I wonder if that's just dust or if that's the card. It might be the card. It does, yep, it feels like the card. So maybe that's not a 10, but we're going to still gently put him into a sleeve, and we'll evaluate that more closely later. Maybe it's just a piece of paper that hasn't kind of fluffed off yet, or maybe it is on the edge, and that would just be that. But either way, we have our Joe Montana taking over the podium already. First pack, really great start. Let's see what's next with Albert Bentley. Clarence Verdin. Christian Okoye. Ozzie Newsome. All right. So this card can potentially have some value depending upon the error. So the error here is in their biographical information. The error card will say Little Rock. And if we look here, we got it. Little Rock, Arkansas. All right, we have the Ozzie Newsome error card, card number 75. Looking in pretty good shape overall, and worth around $120 in a PSA 10 with that error. So let's tuck him in and check out later what's up. PSA 10s are very hard to get, especially in 90s cards. So this card may be worth 50 cents, but the fact that it is an error does look pretty good. We have a chance. That's a good find. Check it out more later and see what we've got. So, you know what? Let's give Ozzie the podium. That's a pretty good error card to find. So, thank you, Joe Montana. Ozzie will take over our podium for now. And we are just into the first pack. What a great start. Next up, we have Anthony Miller. And away we go. Tim McGee. Johnny Holland. Tony Zendejas. Ernest Biner. Michael Carter. Johnny Rembert. Keith Millard. Neil Anderson. Jeff George, quarterback. Now what's interesting is this card is number 669. We're in Series 1 that I think runs up to around 350. So to have a Series 2 numbered card in a Series 1 pack is interesting to find. So I wonder what that is. But yeah. And I think there's some variations between what uniform he's in and the value. I think there's a Patriots uniform because the draft order was set, but I think some trades were going on that year. So they printed a few different versions of this card because he's the number 1 draft pick. I think it was Patriots, Colts, and 1 or 2 other teams. And so you can find all 4 variations, even though obviously one team drafted him. So I think the Patriots card's worth a little more. But the Colts one, I think, is the most common of it. So cool to see that. Little factoid-ish. Let's roll on to pack number 2. and see what may come out. Trying to be gentle here. You don't want to have it having sat for decades and then I pull it too hard and mess them up. Super Bowl number 20 or 14. Eddie Brown. Crawford Kerr. Ken Norton. Tom Landry. All right. This card's a cool one. And PSA 10 could be worth around $50 or so. So let's give him the horn. Welcome, Tom, to the show. And it's more like, thank you, Tom, for your amazing leadership and performance. I think your show is probably a little bigger than this one, though we're happy to have you. And let's put him in here. Cool. I think Ozzie will still head out Tom on our podium, but we'll keep rolling now with Mark Kelso. And now we're getting some good packs. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's loud. Right now we got a ruckus, and we're cruising through. We got Pat Swilling, Leslie O'Neal, Bruce Hill, Guy McIntyre, Henry Ellard, Brian Sosha, Richard Johnson, and our scratcher. All right. Cruising. We are cruising. Some big names, some big history, and just having fun. Super Bowl number 20, Bears and the Patriots. That's a cool looking card. Vi Sekahima. Jim Jeffcoat. Andre Rison. Anthony Thompson. Interesting. Card number 22. If you look here, there's like a white line that runs across the top. I'm trying to feel if that's just lack of ink. Yeah. So it looks like it's just a printing thing. But, yeah. Interesting. All right. Anthony Thompson. Jim Richter. Mike Munchak. John Settle. Frank Warren. Steve Wisniewski. All right, so this card's interesting because obviously Steve is cool. What people get excited about is the gentleman behind him, none other than Bo Jackson. And so this card, surprisingly, in a good grade, is worth around $300 to some folks. So we will definitely sleeve this up. I see a little white here. I wonder if that's just paper dust or if that's the card itself. And it looks like it's the card itself. I'd actually, if I were to, eventually, I will get a microfiber cloth and see if that's off. But if that is removable, as if it's this paper dust or something, could be a $300 card. If not, then it's probably a maybe a $1 card if we are lucky. And that is how this goes. But very cool to pull it. I think Ozzie will still remain our champion, but we'll keep cruising. We got Bruce Hill, Rod Rust, Kevin Green, Gerald Riggs, Wayne Fontes, and there is our scratcher. We keep rolling. All right, Super Bowl 12, Cowboys and Broncos. Harry Galbraith, Dwayne Bickett, Fred Young, Percy Snow. Lombardi Award winner, 1989. We got John Elliott from the Giants. Mike Johnson. Tom Newberry. Ricky Jackson. Irv Eatman. Irvin Randall. Lomas Brown. Fred Strickland. Gary Clark. Jerry Ball. And to our scratcher. So we have hit a small, quiet streak. They happen, but sometimes when it gets quiet, soon after it gets loud. Let's see what's coming. Actually, let's guess. I think maybe a Bo Jackson. That could be cool. Maybe a Fred Marion. And maybe Jerry Rice. So let's see what's coming up now. Bo Jackson, Fred Marion, Jerry Rice. Super Bowl number 5. Louis Oliver. John Hand. Donnell Thompson. Lindy Infante. Head coach. Dino Hackett. Ray Donaldson. Harry Hamilton. John Wojciechowski. Mike Ditka. There we go. Hall of Fame coach. Mark Carrier. Bernie Kosar. Larry Kelm. Jim Lachey. Jay Hilgenberg. That is our pack. The quiet continues. We are now over the middle into pack number 6. Let's see what we've got. Again, we have those crooked corners on all the Super Bowls. Don't know why that happened, but we've got it. Eric Sievers. Rowan Stark. That's cool. Rowan Stark. Mike Pryor. Buck Buchanan. Hall of Fame. Don Griffin. Lee Williams. Paul Gruber. Mark Murphy. Art Shell. Kevin Murphy. Harris Barton. Tunch Ilkin. Neil Smith. We got those roller marks. You can probably see it in the right angle. Very interesting. It's on the Chiefs this time. John Roper. And our scratcher. It has gotten desolate in here. Very quiet. Crickets are so noisy. It's unbelievable. Card Super Bowl number 19. Let's see. Randall Cunningham. Andre Rison. John Hand. I think it's back-to-back packs. And look at that roughed up corner. Looks almost as if the gloss coating was kind of messed up in how it dried or was applied or something, but interesting. All right. Bob St. Clair. That's cool. Hall of Fame selection. Stanley Morgan. Shane Conlon. Ray Perkins. Ron Hallstrom. Drew Hill. Mark Robinson. Jesse Sapolu. Pro Bowl in Hawaii card. That's a cool photo. Chris Dolman. Steve McMichael. And our scratcher. All right, we are getting down to our last 2 packs. It's almost as if it is silent in here, but let's see what we've got. Super Bowl number 8. I'm rooting for a Bo Jackson. It's been a little too quiet. I think something big is about to come out. Clyde Simmons, card 250. Nice even number. Bill Brooks. Dwayne Bickett. We've got Bob Grease. Bob Grease. It's probably a better way to say that. Let me know. Ron Holmes. Derek Thomas. Lewis Billups. Sterling Sharp. Lorenzo White. Stephon Page. Pete Holohan. Pharrell Edmonds. Joey Browner. You got those roller marks. Mike Singletary. And that's it. All right, we're on to our last pack. We still have Ozzie Newsome, the error card, on our podium, so a great, great day either way. But let's see what is in the last one. Super Bowl number 9. Fred Marion. All right, so this could be amazing, or it could just be another card. So the Fred Marion card, on the front, there was a shadow of sorts that had to be removed by an airbrush in updated versions. And so the regular card is worth, just common card value. However, card number 204, if his belt is visible, is worth around $250 or so as a PSA 10. So we're going to turn this over and find out, do we have the good one, or is it just a regular one? And we are about to see. All right, it is just the regular one. If this was the error card, you would see something in this area here, his belt, and a bit of a shadow. So the card is in beautiful condition and would have been amazing. However, that's part of the fun. You don't know until you know, and now we know. So we will put this in our cool cards to save and keep on rolling. Clarence Verdon, 137. Rowan Stark. Keith Milliard. Ron Morris. Mike Quick. Carl Zander. Lindy Infante. Ernest Gibbons. Ricky Sanders. Vince Newsome. And Clay, we've got a bunch more left. Clay Matthews. Anthony Carter. Keith Van Horn. And that is our stack. So wow, we had some suspense, we had some potential huge ones, but we still end the day with some great cards, the biggest being our Ozzie Newsome error card. We have our Steve Wisniewski blocking for Bo Jackson, Joe Montana, Tom Landry. What a great setup. I think we had some excellent finds and some good times along the way. So hope you learned something, hope you had fun, and there you have it. Until next time.